Okay, so for today's problem of the day in Leetcode, that is maximum absolute sum of any subarray. Okay, so it is approximately same as maximum sum subarray. Okay, that is basically Kadan's algorithm. So in that we have to just calculate the max, and here the one difference is there. Okay, basically it is like same. Okay, so the approach would be same. Okay, so let's see what we'll do. The question is that you are given an integer array and we have to simply return the absolute sum of a subarray. Okay, so just let's see what is absolute. Absolute is basically if the x is a negative number, then the absolute always returns the positive basically. Okay, and x is a non-negative, then it will simply return always positive is then positive, and if there is minus, then simply it will return positive. Okay, so let's see, let's understand the question a little bit more. So here's the question I have explained. So I have taken this basically array. So if you form all the possible subarrays, then simply these are the possible subarrays that I have written: 1, 1 minus 3. Okay, so here, and I have also written the sum of all the subarrays. Okay, so here's I have written all the subarrays sum. Okay, so these are not absolutes basically sum. Let me write if what would the absolute sum. Simply all the negative, basically this negative will be simply positive. Okay, so let's just write for only negative, and all the other sum would be same. Okay, so simply just will let one more. Okay, so here I have written basically all the absolute sum, or sum you can say. So absolute sum for this all the possible absolute sum of this subarray for this array. Okay, so I have written all the possible subarray and this absolute sum 1 2 1 1. So you will see the maximum sum is 5. Okay, so the maximum sum in this subarray is 5, and hence the output is also here 5. Okay, for this example one that I have taken, so the output is also 5. So you got the thing. That's the question you have to basically do. So let's see what will the approach. Okay, so it is like a cadence basically, but we can also use a prefix sum and basically to solve this. Okay, because prefix sum is a very good approach for whenever we are dealing basically with the sub arrays problem. Okay, because for finding the sum in sub arrays, the prefix sum approach is very nice, very good. Okay, because it simply gives the sum between sub arrays where I and j. Okay, for two basically in point I and j, it simply gives the sub array sum from those 2 points. Okay, so by simply prefix sum I minus prefix sum j. Okay, simply it gives us. Okay, you know that prefix sum is a array in which it is type of array in which we sum all the elements till that integer. Okay, like here if we say that is I should be there minus 3, so the prefix sum till here is 1 plus minus 3, basically 1 minus 3, that is minus 2. So the prefix sum I would be minus 2. So you know the I have basically explained earlier about prefix sum. Okay, so let's see how we will do using this prefix sum. Okay, so what we'll do, we will if you see again, let's just understand this thing. Okay, so we have to find the basically maximum sum. Okay, so the maximum subarray sum. Okay, so to find the maximum subarray sum, here the two things, that is prefix sum I and prefix sum j, that is will be simply 2 points I and j, that will simply form a subarray from which we have to find the maximum sum. So to find the maximum sum, what would be the simple approach? That this simple math says that this should be greater. Okay, this should be greater, and this should be smaller. Okay, this should be smaller. Okay, so if the this prefix sum I would be greater, okay, so simply it will give the value greater. Okay, So simply what we have to do is we have to simply find the maximum prefix sum that would be possible in this array. Okay, so the approach is that we have to find maximum prefix sum that will be formed in this array, and we have to find minimum also, so that we can simply at last subtract the maximum from minimum. Okay, so that will simply give the largest value. So that's the approach. So you got it that we have to just to maximize the sum, we have to just maximize this prefix sum I, because simply if we see at mathematically this minus this is sum between the subarrays. So simply what we'll do, we will maximize this and minimize this, so simply it will give the maximum sum between the subarrays. Okay, so that's what we have to do. Okay, so let's see how the approach will work. Okay, so what we'll do, we will simply take two variables, that is max sum, or you can say max prefix sum. Okay, max prefix sum. So and next variable we will take, that is minimum prefix sum. Okay, minimum prefix sum. Okay, so that simply max prefix sum calculate the maximum value in the whole basically this array, maximum sum of the basically maximum prefix sum in the whole array, and minimum prefix sum simply calculate the minimum prefix sum that will be possible in this array, and we, at last we will simply minus this. Okay, subtract this, so we will get the maximum sum between the sub arrays. So maximum prefix sum, okay, and minimum prefix sum. So what we will do is basically we will iterate through whole this array. Okay, we will iterate through array, and every time we will calculate the prefix sum. Let's just write a pseudocode. Okay, one thing basically what we will initialize is this. In Cadence you have initializes this int minimum. Okay, so the minimum value, okay, that is max sum to the int minimum, because here we will initialize it with 0. Why 0? Because in 0 it has written that if there is all the negative element, this like if in array all the numbers are negative. Okay, so simply the sum would be 0. Okay, so if there is no sub arrays where the maximum sum is possible, then simply we have to return the 0. Okay, so that's why we are taking maximum prefix sum as 0 first. Okay, then minimum prefix sum also we will take simply 0. Okay, so that's the okay, and for then we will simply use this loop for. Okay, for I equals to 0 to till n minus 1. Okay, so what we will do is basically we will find every time prefix sum. Okay, let's just find the prefix sum. Prefix sum plus equals to array of I. Okay, simply it will simply find every time prefix sum, and every time we will calculate maximum prefix sum. So what we will do, simply calculate maximum prefix sum. Okay, I will just try render. Okay, max of prefix sum comma max prefix sum. Okay, so every time we will calculate the prefix sum, maximum prefix sum, so that will check, it will simply calculate the maximum prefix sum till last. Okay, and at the end next what we will do, we will calculate the minimum prefix sum. Okay, let's just write for minimum prefix sum. Okay, so every time we will also calculate minimum prefix sum. I will just try run, then you will got it how this approach is working. Okay, so let's just calculate this. Okay, and at last simply what we'll do, we will simply return this, what, max prefix sum minus minimum prefix sum. Okay, so simply it will simply give us the largest value. Okay, largest possible sub array sum. Okay, let's just try run it. Okay, so in this on this array, okay, let's just take it, let's just try it. Okay, okay, so at first what we will do, we will simply calculate the prefix sum. Let's just prefix sum for first basically iteration. Let's just take a I value. Okay, or we can simply draw a table so that don't have to write it. Okay, so I have drawn the table. Okay, so what we'll do, we will simply add it. So the first value would be simply 1, so the prefix sum would be simply 1. Okay, and the maximum prefix sum should be also would be 1, and the minimum prefix sum would also would be 1. Then what we'll do, we'll simply come on minus 3. So 1 minus 3 is minus 2. So the prefix sum would be simply minus 2 at this time, and maximum prefix sum simply would be simply same 1, because the max of prefix sum and max is simply the maximum value is 1, and minimum should be then minus 2. Okay, and then for 2 what we'll do, then again come minus 2 plus 2 is simply 0. Max prefix sum should be here 0, and then max prefix sum again would be 1, because the max is 1, and the minimum is should be also 1, because the minimum is minus 2. Then for 3 it will simply give 3. Okay, and the value here would be 3. Okay, and here minimum prefix sum would be simply minus 2. Okay, and at last prefix sum, that is for 3 basically minus 4. 3 minus 4 is minus 1. Okay, simply it will give minus 1, and maximum prefix sum it would be simply 3, and minimum prefix sum should be minus 2, because it is the value of basically lowest value. Okay, so it is the minus 2. Okay, so I have created whole the table. So at last what we have to do, we have to return the max prefix sum. Okay, max prefix sum minus minimum prefix sum. Okay, okay, so what it would be, simply it would be 3 minus of minus 2. Okay, so it will simply give 5. Okay, so our output was also 5, if you can see here. Okay, so the output was also 5. So you got the approach. I will tell you in the Leetcode also, so I will provide you the code also. So that's how this approach will work. Okay, so that's so here's the basically Leetcode. Let's just write the code. Okay, so first what we'll do, we will take two variable, that is max prefix sum, that would calculate the max okay, max prefix sum till the basically total max prefix sum, and we will initialize it with 0, and then we will take minimum prefix sum, that will simply calculate the minimum prefix sum till last. Okay, and at last we will take prefix sum equals to 0. Okay, so what we'll do, we will simply use loop and enter I0 to last basically n. Okay, I less than n, not n num start. Okay, and simply I iterate it, and then what we'll do, we will simply calculate the prefix sum. Okay, I have written the pseudocode there in Excali. So then we will simply calculate the max prefix sum equals to max of okay, then prefix sum. Okay, then simply we will calculate the minimum also. Let's just copy it and just okay, okay, so I have written here, and at last what we'll do, we will simply return max prefix sum minus minimum prefix sum. Okay, so that will simply give answer. Okay, let's just run it. Okay, so it's running fine. Then we will simply submit it. So yeah, let's simply give the best solution.